Welcome to Ecclesia Principles, a biblical strategy for believers to engage in God's design for government with Ray Eppard.
Hello, glad you could join us again today. This week we've been looking at the family jurisdiction. Our text is Romans 13:4, the first part of that, where it says, "For he," referencing government officials, "for he is God's minister to you for good." That's God's intent. Not that that's what they always do, but that is God's intent, and they will have to stand before God and give an account for whether what they did was good for you or not. Now, with this, we're looking at things that protect the family. Protect the family. Now, I'm going to reference the Old Testament in the book of Leviticus. I believe it's Leviticus 26, where God instituted what was known as the year of Jubilee. The year of Jubilee. It was every 50 years. And in those 50 years, every 50th year, there was a proclamation that was to be made of liberty throughout the land. And then when he began to describe what happened, and I'd encourage you to go back and read about the year of Jubilee, because again, if we're going to understand what protects the family, we've got to get real about what we know and understand. And you see, when he said proclaim liberty throughout the land, when you read what he says, virtually everything that was listed was economic. It was economic. Now see, people, especially religious people, have trouble talking about economics and money. They just have a lot of trouble with that. The Bible talks about it a lot. But you see, if you especially look at that year of Jubilee, and it's a proclamation of liberty, and it's the canceling of debts, being returned to your property, so forth and so on. Now, with that, what that shows us is that, let me call it the enjoyment of your liberty is tied to your economics. It's tied to the economics that you face. If you need a new car and you go to town and you're going to go look at all the dealerships, and out of all of those dealerships, there's only one car on the lot you can afford, you don't have much liberty. Your economics impacts your liberty. But at the same time, if you go and, matter of fact, you don't see a car that you want, they don't have some of the options and the bells and whistles that you want. So you go, I want to order this and add that and the other thing. Economics adds to your liberty. It adds to your choices, if you would. Money never satisfies. You know, one of the things I talked about with my sons as they were growing up, I said, money never makes you happy, but money gives you more choices. And there's nothing wrong with having more choices. But never get confused with the idea that that's happiness. Money doesn't make you happy. It just gives you more choices. And sometimes, as I heard one person say one time, you know, money won't make you happy, but it will make you comfortable while you're miserable. And so, but anyway, but with that, we have to understand that economic policy is one of the biggest ways to protect the family. That if economic policy helps the family financially, then that's helping the family, that's protecting the family. If economic policy puts a cap and doesn't allow them to grow, and you know, I actually, well, I'm out of time, but there's a lot of people just teaching right now in the political realm that you should just be happy with things and not want growth. Growth has to do with liberty. Without growth, liberty almost ceases to exist. With growth, there's more liberty. With no growth, there's a reduction of liberty. And the thing of it is you'll see that in all political policies. Join us again next week. God bless you.
You've been listening to Ecclesia Principles with Ray Eppard. Follow us on YouTube and Facebook on our Ray Eppard pages. This program was brought to you by Victory Worship Center and World Outreach. Services Sunday 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock, 200 Hammond Lane, Stanton, Virginia.